This is Mr. Martin, and this is the Notes on Angle Relationships. Our objective is to visually represent some of these vocabulary terms that you have here and you've seen before if you did the vocabulary, the Unit 1 vocabulary earlier. So we're going to take a look at adjacent angles. It says a definition here. It says two angles that are next to. If I ask you who lived next to you, another word for that is adjacent. So I want you to draw a line segment. Actually, it doesn't matter if it's a line. It's hard to draw with this. Can't use a ruler on here either. So here is my line. Okay, adjacent means next to, so here's an example with two that are next to each other. So I'll call this angle 1 and 2. They share a common side, which is called the vertex. So the vertex here is this point right here. I'll call that V for the vertex for this one. Now, it doesn't have to be a straight line. It could be, and I'm going to put another example here, an angle, and it has another line through it, or a ray, maybe breaking that. So I'll draw a picture of a ray, not necessarily bisecting it, but the two angles that would be adjacent would be, I'll just call it 1 and 2 as well here. 1 and 2 are adjacent. The next one we're going to look at is vertical angles. I'll go clockwise. So the first thing I want you to do is to go ahead and draw two lines that intersect. I always say on vertical, look for an X. And then it's the ones that are crossed or opposite each other. So there's actually two pair, and they're always congruent to each other. So I'm going to call this angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent to each other, and angle 3 and angle 4 are congruent to each other. So I look for vertical angles. They're always congruent. Next, we're going to go to the right where it says linear. Inside the word linear is this word line. Pair means two, so it's a line pair. So you can notice two angles that are adjacent and supplementary. We have that term supplementary. Supplementary means it's a straight line, 180 degrees. So here's this straight angle or a straight line. So it's going to be a whole lot like the drawing one I had for adjacent angles. So an example, draw your line, and then you're going to draw a ray that breaks this up. Let's put the vertex down here. Here's the vertex, and I've got angle 1 and angle 2. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180 degrees, because supplementary is 180 degrees. Now, there's actually some proving parts of here, but angle 1 and 2 are supplementary. Okay, so next, supplementary angles. Here it is, any two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So, again, for that linear pair, I'll just kind of write that down. Angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. I ran out of room, so I'll write it over here. If measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Now, to kind of understand that, you may have to look over this and replay this a number of times. So complementary angles is any two angles whose sum is 90. So look for a right angle. So if you have a right angle, measure of angle 1, well, let's just call these what they are. They're complementary. So let me erase this here. quickly. Oops. And angle 2 are complementary. So now what I'd like you to do is to practice and fill out some of these on in your packet. You'll find a paper and it says, it'll have some examples for you. In fact, you'll check some squares so you can identify some of these terms. This will be some practice. Have a great day.